Hey, DJ, do you know what time it is, my friend?
It's pick time.
It's pick time. And since we both parred number 5,
okay,
and I eagled number 4, guess who gets to lead off today?
You got them.
I got
bring your big Bertha up there and lead us off.
Oh, here we go. I am going to hit a perfect weekend. I'm getting closer. I felt like I screwed myself last week. It was bad coaching, man. It was bad coaching. I have to apologize to the fans and the boosters of my decision-making process last week when I picked 2 picks in the same game because I let one performance beat me twice. I let one mistake get me twice. It won't happen this week. I will never pick the same game twice. So I'm going to start out on a Thursday night game.
Okay.
So if you're listening to this podcast on Wednesday or Thursday morning, I love this pick. I really love this pick, but it's not my lock.
Okay.
I'm taking the Houston Cougars.
Okay, following my footsteps.
I am, but I will tell you why I'm doing this. Houston Cougars are -4.5 against Tulane. Tulane is struggling right now. But let me tell you what's happening down in Houston that nobody's talking about right now. Everybody thinks about Dana and a high-powered offense, but my man Doug Belt, who I work with at Alabama, is the defensive coordinator, and they are playing some defense in Houston.
Right. They are playing some defense.
I mean, they are playing some defense, and Doug's got them going, and I'm so happy for him. He is I don't know if you know Doug, but he's about as good of a dude as they come. He's awesome. Happy for him. Up and comer. He'll be a head coach before too long. Houston -4.5 versus the Tulane Green Wave on Thursday night football. So fired up about that.
Good pick. I thought about that one. Good pick.
All right, go ahead.
All right, my first pick is Charlotte at FIU, and Charlotte is favored by 1.5 points, and I think they'll beat them by more than 1.5. I'm taking Charlotte.
Yes, and I think Vegas missed this one, so you better get it in when you can get it in because this one's going to go up. I'm with you on that. I looked at that one too. Charlotte's playing some ball now. Healy's got them playing.
Yeah, they are. And FIU's struggling.
Yes,
it's going both ways there. I think Charlotte's playing good, and I think FIU's struggling.
All right, my second pick, and I'll let you trail this one up because I think me and you are thinking alike on this one. This will also be my lock of the week. I'm going back-to-back. The Georgia Bulldogs -14.5 versus Auburn. This line has actually gone the other direction. Okay, it was started a little higher, and it's starting to drop a little bit. I'm probably going to wait if I was wagering this one. If it continues to drop, if you can get this thing at 13.5, ooh, I mean, that's free money. This is my lock for the week. Look, Auburn is struggling up front, okay? They are. And this is not the game that you want to be struggling up front. I'm talking about offensively. And look, congratulations to Auburn. I know I got some Auburn buddies that listen to this podcast since that's where I went to school. And I had some buddies that call me and are on me all the time about wearing out Auburn. But look, they won it. That was a great win on the road against LSU. First time since 1999, all that stuff. But Patrick Nix bailed them out, man. I mean, he was running around like Johnny Manziel, and I mean, they just couldn't tackle the guy.
You know what?
He was
crazy.
The most elusive. He was like Lamar Jackson back there. They couldn't touch him.
I think it was Bo Nix that bailed him out, not his dad.
Oh, did I say Patrick Nix? Well,
yeah.
I actually thought. Well, I had that in my head. I talked to Pat. I talked to Pat on the phone the other day. That's what I was. I had called him asking about one of his kids. So I talked to him on the phone. So I got him. I guess I had him fresh in my mind. And but yeah, Bo Nix. Yeah, his dad would not be able to do that. His dad.
Yes.
He definitely got his speed from his mom. But I mean, Bo was running around like Johnny Manziel, Lamar Jackson, and making these just ungodly plays downfield. That's not sustainable. I mean, it's not. I mean, that's how they won the game. If he doesn't play quarterback in that game, they don't win, period.
That's true.
And that's just not sustainable. It won the game, congratulations, but you can't put that's not an offense. You can't. And this week when he tries to do that this week, he will get caught. Okay, because those dudes on the other side can play some defense. And so I just think they get after them. I don't think Auburn scores very much. I think Georgia, the mailman Stetson, if he comes back, he has to play again. I mean, they're just solid on offense. They can run the football. They will score enough points. They cover that one easily, I think.
I got the same pick, and I got it as a lock as well.
Is this 2 weeks in a row? We're locking together.
Yep, 2 weeks ago, man. We're gonna keep it rolling. Let me ask you this, just out of curiosity: has Georgia not covered this entire season? I mean, Clemson was favored; they won. They were favored by 30 against Vanderbilt. They beat them by 50.
Correct. I don't. Hey, you know what? You know what I can do?
I think Georgia.
Let me check that. I can actually check that. I got a way to check that. 10 seconds.
I think Georgia has covered. I think Georgia has covered in every game this season.
Oh, they have not. They are 4-1 against the spread.
Okay.
So let me see which one it would have been. Oh, I remember which one it was. South Carolina. They were like 36-point favorites or whatever it was, 30-something point favorites, and that's the one touchdown they gave up. They late in the game, the Twos gave up a score late, and they won 40-13. So they got it was like 32 something, but they're 4-1. But yeah,
4-1 is still good betting odds.
Yes, and this you got to think about this now. One, they haven't given up. Starters have not given up a touchdown. Their points allowed per game. Do you know what their points per game allowed right now are?
No.
4.6.
Wow.
And that's with how about this? That's with
a pick six.
Giving up a pick six. Like they given up a pick six. But here was the most interesting stat that I heard this weekend from a couple of coaches. They have actually scored more points on defense than they've given up for the year.
That's incredible. Incredible.
Yeah. So that's interesting. So so I think that's easy. That's easy money right there. All right. So that was your second pick as well. So I'll tee it up with the third pick and say, hey, you know what I told you about my mom was going to be coming in at some point in time. She just tried to sneak in the house. So we'll see. We'll see if she
meatloaf.
Yeah. Ma, where's the meatloaf? So she'll probably be around here in a minute. But my third pick, Iowa Penn State.
Oh, okay.
Iowa Penn State. I'm not shying away. I got a chance with one of my good buddies to watch a little bit of that Iowa Maryland game on Friday night. Wow, that's what you were expecting to see. Look, they got them at home. When it's a big game, man, look, they're good on defense. Iowa can play some defense. They can run the football. They're physical. Look, I think when you go back and you look at, you're thinking from a betting standpoint, you're thinking, okay, this is going to be kind of like Penn State, Wisconsin, right? Penn State beats Wisconsin 16-10, but Dodson, the receiver, who is, by the way, the best receiver in college football, in my opinion, the receiver at Penn State. The only difference is Wisconsin couldn't cover me in the secondary right now. They cannot cover. That's how they get beat every week. Iowa can. That's their deal. Is they stop. They are great at pass defense. I'm going with Iowa -3. I think this is going to be this will end up being probably a 2.5 point spread. I bet by the end of the deal. So I'd wait on that, but. I think Iowa wins the game. I think they win it by at least 3, if not more. So I'm taking Iowa -3.
It's going to have a national championship, on the line. Who's going to get into the playoff is going to be a part of this game. So really,
Big Ten,
big odds.
Where I get all confused in the Big Ten is I still don't understand the divisions of the Big Ten. Like I get confused on who's on what side. You still got Michigan. They're all going between Iowa, Penn State, Ohio State, and Michigan. How that sorts out, whoever wins the tiebreakers and wins the championship and all that stuff. I think the Big Ten champion is going to be a one-loss team. I think if you're trying to get to the championship and then you're trying to win it, I think the winner gets in. So it's going to be interesting there. So, all right, who you got for your third pick there, DJ?
Third pick for me is South Carolina at Tennessee. Tennessee is 10-point favorites, and I think Tennessee is going to beat them by more than 10. Last week, I think Josh Heupel got that offense rolling. And
they looked apart, didn't
they? And I had to defend him when he was the OC at Missouri. And that is not an easy offense to defend, especially once those players understand how to execute that up tempo and how to attack defenses and how to get them tired and get them on their heels. And I think that from last week's performance, they're getting there if they're not there. And I think this game is going to be more than a 10-point spread.
Yeah, that came out of nowhere. He got them ready quick. So definitely, you got flashes what they're going to be.
Right.
And so if they're not there yet, but I actually looked at that one too. All right, my fourth pick, DJ.
Okay.
The Alabama Crimson Tide.
Prime
time CBS. But this playing Texas A&M. They're 17.5-point favorites. Guess what, DJ?
You don't think it's enough?
It's not enough. I mean, I just don't think one is, and I know they were ready to play last week, but this one they've been looking forward to. This one's been circled for a while. We talked about it earlier. Don't piss off the bear. Don't poke the bear. There's no reason to do that. Well, now you're sitting here and Texas A&M's lost how many games? They've lost 2 in a row, right?
2 in a row.
They can't move the ball on offense. They're struggling a little bit on defense. And you're bringing in an Alabama team that's getting better every single week.
Right.
I think they had some issues with the crowd noise at the Swamp that affected their snap count. Hopefully they get that fixed this week with a week of experience going down, because it's going to be loud at Kyle Field now. That's one of the fields that's one of the stadiums that's the real deal loud. That's no joke. Been there and had to play in that one. Maybe from a consistency standpoint, the loudest stadium that I've been in, because when it kicks off to the time that it's 000, it's loud. They don't stop. So in this game they're going to be juiced, night game, CBS national TV, but I think Alabama embarrasses them. So I'm going Alabama minus 17.5.
Well, Alabama's definitely back on track, and A&M is struggling. A&M has the talent. I'm telling you, they're every bit as talented to compete in this game, but they've just struggled this year. I don't know why.
They got 2 O-line. Well, they've been beat up.
They have been beat up. The offensive line hasn't been full strength. They're playing with their second-team quarterback. So,
and they got 2. That was the thing. That was what surprised me a little bit about Saturday night when they lost to State, was they actually got 2 linemen back for State, and it didn't help much, but it is what it is. So,
hey,
right,
speaking of,
is this your go ahead.
Speaking of crowd noise, you mentioned Alabama having problems at the Swamp. How about Florida going to Kentucky and having 8 offensive false starts in that game?
It's having a massive effect. Same thing, and I don't know if I was there because I saw it, but the same thing with Georgia and Arkansas. Arkansas is a run-first team, and they're starting every drive 1st and 15, 1st and 20. Hell, one time they got 3 straight false starts. I mean, they're starting, and when you don't need to get behind in big games, like you're playing Georgia's defense, don't get behind the chains. Same thing with Kentucky. Kentucky's really good on defense, and people aren't giving them any love on that. My man John Summerall and Stoops got them rolling. But you can't get behind the chains to start to drive when you're not on explosive offense. You're done. You're digging yourself a hole. Those are drive
and that's
killers.
Probably what, and really it's probably what gave them the edge in that game. I mean, they had 8. Florida jumped off sides 8 times in that game.
It's insane. So, yeah, I'm with you. It's a big deal. All right, pick 4. Who you got?
So pick 4 for me is SMU versus Navy. SMU 14.5-point favorites, and I'm taking Navy. Navy's coming off a big win, just beat Central Florida. Last few games, they've started to score some more points. You know that offense is tough to defend, and they're going to limit the possessions that your offense can have. And I'm not saying that SMU won't win this game, but I mean, 14.5 points, that's more than a, 2-score game. I think Navy's going to keep it within 14.5.
That is a big pick. I'm looking forward to that one.
No.
You may be the only person in America. I would say this. I wouldn't bet on this game until 2 minutes before kickoff because people are going to jump this spread up. You may get more than 14.5 points by the time this thing kicks off. So I like that. It's a good pick. All right, here we go. My fifth pick. I'm breaking my own golden rule. I have 2 schools that are dead to me. Do you know
you do?
Those two? Do you remember who those are?
LSU and Oklahoma.
LSU and Oklahoma. And since I've been, look, I don't like shooting for par. I like going for the green. If I can see the stick, I'm going to swing for it. Kentucky is playing LSU this week.
Okay.
Kentucky is favored. But guess what? That's not what I'm betting. So I'm hoping that I can go sideways on this one, and LSU doesn't, psychologically know that I'm actually wagering on a game that they're involved in. The over is 52.5 points. I'm taking the under because by the old math, somebody's got to score 27 points in this game,
right,
for the over to hit. I don't see that happening. Very similar to the Texas A&M and Arkansas game a few weeks ago. Watching LSU on offense, knowing how good Kentucky's defense is. Look, I think this goes way under. So I'm going the University of Kentucky and LSU under 52.5.
I think that's a good pick. And if you remember, one of Kentucky's touchdowns was off a blocked field goal that they ran back.
Yes.
Last week's game. And that was a 10-point swing, and the game was a 7-point game.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Big.
So I think that's a really, really, really wise pick.
Yep. That's where I'm going with. All right, pick 5. Who you got?
So for me, my money line is UTEP at Southern Miss. And I'm going to take UTEP in this game. I think that Southern Miss it's more that, it's just as much that Southern Miss is playing bad as UTEP is playing good. UTEP's 4-1 right now, playing good defense. Southern Miss is really struggling. And I'm going to take UTEP and a money line on this one.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think, Southern Miss Will Hall is really good football coach, and he's going to get them turned around. I love everything about the guy. He'll get them turned around. I think the people in Hattiesburg need to make sure they're patient with him because he'll get them there. They're just, got to find a quarterback, got to get things going, offense, not turn the ball over, things like that. But they'll be coming. But, yeah, UTEP's sneaky. Like, what are they, 4-1 or something like that?
Yeah, 4-1. But their only loss being to Boise State.
Yeah, I mean, it's like them and UTSA, man. They got it going. They're kind of surprising a little bit everybody right now. So,
yeah.
All right. My last pick is my money line pick. And I'm going with my boys because I've been watching both. I actually, for whatever reason, it's your fault because you've got me watching you keep picking games that I've been watching this other team play. But I'm taking Memphis is underdogs against Tulsa. And I think just like we talked about a little bit with Arkansas and Ole Miss, I think the kind of the map, the road map is out there to get out there, attack this defense. And I watched the Houston-Tulsa game that was picked last week, and that game was over with in the first quarter. So I'm taking the Memphis Tigers, who've had a couple of rough ones at the end, but I'm taking the Memphis Tigers money line to win outright, give up the points against Tulsa.
I think that's a good pick. I think Mike McIntyre and the coaching staff at Memphis do an excellent job. I think they have a good team. I think that's a great pick.
Yeah, couldn't get away from that one. There wasn't many money lines that I liked, but I did like that one.
Yep.
All right, DJ, your last pick. Who you got?
So last pick for me is Michigan at Nebraska. Michigan is 1-point favorites, and I think Michigan is going to beat Nebraska by more than 1 point.
Wow. This was this is going to be an interesting game. Okay. I played with taking Michigan as well. It was one of my, it made my
Okay.
it made my final cut to where I was, I like that one. Nebraska, this is going to be very interesting to me. Nebraska, everybody kind of gave up on them after the Illinois game. They've been playing good football, man.
They have. They bounced back.
And like
they have bounced back.
Something crazy. Somebody said this. I think they've covered. I saw this on Twitter, and I need to give credit to whoever it was, but I'm sorry, I'm not going back and looking up to see who you are. But somebody, let me find this stat for you. This is good. Somebody, to my knowledge, they did not cover the first week, right? They lost against Illinois. They have covered every week since. They're 5-1 against the spread.
And really played Oklahoma tough.
And I'm just saying, I'm with you on this. I'm with you on this week. I would have taken Michigan as well. Michigan is also 4-1 against the spread. I'm a rider, right? I will be watching this game very closely. Whoever covers the spread, I'm probably going to just not even look who they're playing next week and take them against the spread next week.
Yep, because they've got the rabbit foot in their pocket.
Well, that usually means too, though. Vegas is missing on them for whatever reason. Whatever computer system they use, something's wrong. Because that same thing happened with Indiana last year. Indiana was undefeated or something crazy until the bowl game. But it usually means something's off. They're missing on something. But I think part of it is everybody's gave up on Nebraska because their record's 3-3, right? But they're covering spreads. I mean, they lost to overtime to Michigan State, who's undefeated. They're pretty good. They had a chance to beat Oklahoma, who's undefeated.
Correct.
And then, of course, they had a debacle week 1 against Illinois. But everything else, they beat Northwestern 56-7. They beat Buffalo by 25. And they murdered some FCS team, but I think they're a little bit better than probably what the record indicates. So I'm kind of interested to see this one.
I think all of that is fair. The flip side of that is how good Michigan's playing.
They are.
Michigan is playing their best football that they've played since Jim Harbaugh.
Let me tell you what they're doing in Michigan right now. They're playing defense. They are playing some serious defense.
They are.
I don't know. They got to be ranked up there somewhere. They're not going to be above Georgia, I imagine, but they're only giving up 12 points a game. And, to be fair, Nebraska's playing defense too, by the way. But they're only giving up 170 yards in the air and 115 on the ground. So they're playing – when you're averaging under 300 yards a game on defense, that's like a modern miracle in today's football.
No doubt. And I'll tell you what, it probably corresponds with the style of offense they're running. Because they're running the ball, they're controlling the clock, they're keeping their defense off the field, they're not turning it over. And that usually equals a good defense when your offense runs that style of offense.